This evening, we celebrate the dedication of farmers who are leading the way in environmental sustainability while maintaining farm profitability. Over 100 entries were submitted and 16 finalists were selected. Introducing tonight, we celebrate with them and their families on their successes. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we will find out who will be crowned the 2024 Teagasc FBD Environmental Sustainability Award winner. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage your host for the 2024 Teagasc FBD Environmental Sustainability Award ceremony, Dr. Tom O'Dwyer.
Chairman, Director, ladies and gentlemen, you're very welcome to the awards part of this evening's celebration. I'm Tom O'Dwyer and I'm going to be your host for the rest of the evening. Irish farmers produce high quality, nutritious and healthy food for a growing global population. Producing that food in an environmentally sustainable way is perhaps the biggest challenge facing Irish farmers currently. We hear a lot about the environmental challenges facing farmers, but perhaps we hear less about the great work being undertaken by Irish farmers on their farms to farm in a more environmentally sustainably manner, to reduce their environmental footprint, while continue to produce that high quality food for which they're renowned. We hope that these awards will address that gap while allowing Irish farmers, consumers and Irish citizens to be proud of the great work taking place on Irish farms. The awards, generously sponsored by FBD Insurance, were initiated to identify, recognise and celebrate those farmers who are farming in an environmentally sustainable way. We want to recognise through the awards those farmers who are taking positive steps to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, improve water quality, enhance biodiversity, and increase soil carbon and soil carbon sequestration, all the while producing high-quality food efficiently, productively, and profitably. I want to thank our award sponsors, FBD Insurance, and in particular, Michael Berkery. I want to thank Teagasc colleagues who assisted with the delivery of this initiative. This is a new initiative for Teagasc this year. And it's not just tonight, all the people involved in helping tonight, but all the people that were involved in helping over the last number of months. And I want to particularly call out the judging panel, both Teagasc colleagues and also colleagues from outside the organisation who assisted in judging. There are too many people to mention individually, but I do want to just call out two people, Siobhan Kavanagh, who chaired the judging panel, and also Declan McArdle, who visited all the farms to capture the video imagery that we're going to see here tonight, and also who's producing tonight's award ceremony. With that, I want to call on Teagasc Director Frank O'Mara to say a few words. Is that? No, I've got that one. Yeah.
Thank you, Tom, and good evening, everybody. And I'm delighted to be here at this inaugural Teagasc FBD Environmental Sustainability Awards ceremony. I think it's a great night, and a lot of planning and a lot of preparation has gone into it, and it's great that we're here now and that the night has come to fruition. I'm going to piggyback on my chairman's earlier opening remarks and not mention everybody again that Liam has mentioned, but I do want to acknowledge the presence here of several members of our Teagasc Authority, also the presence of many of my own colleagues here, and in particular Pat Dillon and Stan Lawler, heads of research and knowledge transfer respectively. Also delighted to be welcoming here tonight Laura Burke and other colleagues from the EPA, Deirdre Ryan and colleagues from Board BIA, colleagues from the Department of Ag, and Michael Jordan and Mike Lynch from ICBF. Also want to mention Sean McNamara, who's president of Irish Cattle and Sheep Association, who's joined us here tonight, and TJ Flanagan from ICOS. You're all very welcome. But a particular welcome to all our finalists here tonight. Tonight is about you and celebrating, I suppose, the great things that you are doing on your farms. The objectives of these awards, I suppose, they're twofold. The first is, it's really important to recognise farmers who are doing a good job farming and doing that in maybe a more environmentally sustainable manner, but while you're also producing food in a profitable manner, because that's obviously very, very important for you. And I suppose, so that's the first thing, recognising what you're doing. And the second thing is, I suppose, here, promote this concept of sustainable farming. And we have to remember that sustainable farming is a three-legged stool. And while, maybe the first thing that comes into your mind when we say sustainable farming is the environment, but sustainable farming is also about being economically sustainable and socially sustainable. And while there are many challenges facing agriculture on the environment side, we have to remember that the economic and social legs of the stool are equally important. And it's important to demonstrate, I think, that you can farm in a way that's profitable and socially acceptable and environmentally acceptable, that we can get the three of those working together. It's a win-win, and that's, I suppose, what we're celebrating here tonight. So, farming in an environmentally sustainable way doesn't mean compromising on trying to make a profit in the business as well. And look, the sector is facing many environmental challenges, and I'm not going to go into detail, but we know that the challenge around climate change, and our targets around greenhouse gas emissions. We know the challenges around water quality. We know the challenges around biodiversity. So there are many challenges on the environment side that agriculture faces. But it's a very adaptable, innovative sector, and I've no doubt that with the help of people like ourselves and my colleagues, that farming will adapt and will master these challenges. Our job in Teagasc is to support farmers in that journey, and we are very committed to doing that and to help you farm more sustainably in those three dimensions of sustainability. And on the environment area, we've put a lot of effort in the last couple of years into the climate area. We launched a strategy around climate, supporting farmers around climate change. This year we launched a strategy around water quality, the Better Farming for Water, 8 Actions for Change strategy, and we've a lot of activity on the biodiversity area as well. So look, I suppose our job is to ensure that the technologies are there to allow you to minimise the impacts of those impacts on those areas, and to do that in a way that allows you to continue farm. And myself and my colleagues, we're all very committed to doing that. We don't work obviously in isolation. We work with many partners, both in other agencies and in industry, and again delighted to see so many people here from both the dairy and the beef and other industries. I think collectively we're much stronger when we try to tackle these problems together. But a particular thanks to ICBF and Board BIA for your support with us and partnership with us in developing tools around this, such as the AgNav tool that we've developed as part of our climate strategy, and now that is going to be very central to working with farmers around water quality. And also my own colleagues and the farmers indeed in the National Farm Survey for providing very important data to us. And data really is central to all of this. And to know, I think it's very important to be able to measure things, because only then can you properly manage them. And data was very important in terms of the whole process of identifying the farmers who are here tonight, and indeed the winners that will be announced shortly. So I'd say to all the finalists that are here, look, you're all doing a great job. You wouldn't be here if you weren't doing a great job, both from a technical efficiency point of view, from producing very high quality food, and for doing that in a way that you're also looking after the environment. And I think, it does take a special talent maybe to keep a watchful eye on all those dimensions of sustainability at the one time, and try and optimise them all and keep all those balls that you're juggling up in the air. So we very much salute you in that. And I think we very much want, other people to look and see what you're doing, and to say, well, look, he's making a few bob out of that, or she's making a few bob out of that, and she's also looking after the environment. Maybe I could aspire to be a bit more like that in the future. So look, we're certainly there to support you in that. And I'd wish you the best of luck in the competition tonight, because it is a competition. But I would say, anyone that has got shortlisted, you're obviously operating to a very, very high standard. So anybody that's here should be very proud of what you're doing. But I also would like to thank you for putting yourselves forward for this competition. It can often be hard to put your hand up and put your head up, and maybe have people say, oh, look at that fella or that one, who do they think they are? But if we don't have people that are willing to do that, well, then we have no exemplars or leaders in which to point out. So I'd like to wish you the best luck, and hope that you really enjoy the night and the remainder of the night. You'll probably cringe when you see yourself in the videos, but for the rest of us, you'll be fantastic. So finally, just to mention again the great partnership that we have with the FBD family in relation to this and many other events, and a particular word of thanks to Michael Berkery. Michael, it's probably 3 or 4 years ago we first started talking around issues around this, and I think we have now brought to fruition a very, very good initiative that I hope will stand the test of time. Also like to mention in particular, apart from all my many colleagues that are here, a lot of advisors working with farmers and working in joint programmes, a special word to Tom O'Dwyer and Siobhan Kavanagh, who put a huge effort into I suppose this night here, and many of the projects we have in the sustainability area. Also Bernice Malloy, who's put a lot of effort into this tonight. It wouldn't have happened without Bernice, and of course Declan and his team, who are going to I suppose keep us in suspense and entertained for the next hour or so. So Gurmina Mahag Wave Galair.
Thank you, Frank. So Frank mentioned videos, and we're now going to see a number of videos featuring each of our 16 finalists. We've packaged the videos together by enterprise. So firstly, suckler beef, then followed by tillage, dairy, sheep, tillage and dairy beef in that order. So we're going to start now with a series of 4 videos featuring our 4 suckler farm finalists. And Declan visited each of the 16 finalists earlier this summer, captured lots of imagery, and then edited the imagery into a short video package for each farm. Each video is meant to give you a flavour of what's happening on the farm, and is not meant to cover what's happening on the farm. So a taster of what's happening on each of our 16 finalist farms, starting with the suckler beef finalists.
There are 4 finalists in the suckler beef category. First up, we go to County Offaly to meet Ken Gill.
My name is Ken Gill. I'm an organic beef and tillage farmer here in Ballylooby in County Offaly. I have about 90 hectares and I've run 60 to 65 suckler cows and an autumn calving suckler herd. One of the changes I made when I converted to organics was to go 100% autumn calving, and it's been one of the best decisions I made. There's a couple of advantages. One is the cows go in October, and they're very easy then to see and keep an eye on for 100% AI. 100% AI has probably transformed the herd more than anything else. Picking bulls for replacement, but also picking bulls for terminals. Their heifer calves are coming along. They're well able to calve at 2 years of age. My rotation is red clover and oats, but also to break the sod, it goes into a turnip, rape and kale in the autumn. For me, that's a great saving. It leaves my store cattle out for November, well into December, and that's a huge saving. So if I had to pick 3 things that I've been doing on the farm that have really kind of made a difference to the environment, one would certainly be the hedge management and the field boundary management. So allowing the hedges to grow, making sure that there's plenty of flowering plants in it. Something that isn't often talked about from a biodiversity point of view is that the biodiversity that's underneath the soil. And that comes from me, part of it is rotation, that breaks that up, but getting it back into grassland, but also leaving roughly a third of the farm in old permanent pasture that has that incredible biodiversity going on underneath the soil. So I've planted a lot of trees, I've always loved trees. So I've always been lucky enough to have an old semi-natural woodland there, and I'm managing that in a way that is coppice with standards, and that's something that really is something that's a sight to behold. If you look at the list that Teagasc have of 12 things to reduce your gas emissions on the farm, 10 of them only affect me because 2 of them are to do with spreading fertilizer, which I don't do. But there is not one of those things on that list that I feel that aren't good for the environment, but also good for your bottom line.
Now we head to County Roscommon to meet Shane Keaveney.
Hi, my name is Shane Keaveney. We're farming in Roscommon, just outside a village called Ballylooby. We're farming 36 hectares between owned and rented land. I farm here with my wife Grania and my 3 children, Annie, Neil and Aaron. We have a suckler enterprise here. We have about 36, 37 suckler cows. One of the things we're really good at in this farm is on our breeding side of things. So that means our cows are calving at 365 days. The calving interval is that. We calf our heifers at 24 months. We're finishing our bulls at under 16 months. And we hope to finish our dairy calves at 19, 20 months. Last couple of years, we have reduced our fertiliser usage through a combination of the white clover and making more effective use of our slurry. with the trailing shoe. On the red clover front, the quality of the silage was really, really good. Came in at 17.5% protein and about 76 DMD. For example, the weaning bulls were getting 5 kilos a meal along with red clover silage, and at one stage they were doing 1.5 kilos a day daily gain on it. We're also measuring grass every week or so during the summer on pasture base. We have a forestry here with about 25 acres of forestry. We met our local ASAP advisor here and we had a good walk around the farm. So we identified a few areas off the pit maps, and we decided to put in bunds where the ground was low, where there was a lot of surface water runoff into our water courses. Through my acres plan, I have a 1.5 metre riparian zone back off all the water courses. We took a conscious decision on the farm not to overly trim or overly cut back on those hedges to promote biodiversity on the farm. As well as that, our 1.5 metre riparian margins are acting as a biodiversity trap as well. We're also involved on the farm here with social farming. It's a win-win for both of us. We get a lot out of it and they get a lot out of it. Like Grania and myself, we'll be the main people on the farm, but our children also have a keen interest in it. And I suppose entering the likes of this competition is upping the profile of the farm, and it's helping them to be more proud of the farm they come from.
Back down the country we go to County Waterford to meet Eamon and Donncha McCarthy.
My name is Eamon McCarthy. I'm farming here in Glendine, just outside Youghal. We're in County Waterford. I'm farming in partnership with my son. We have approximately 50 suckler cows. We're doing suckler to beef. We try to finish all the bulls at 16 months and the heifers at 18, 20 months.
We started AIing the cows about 10 years ago because the bull stopped working, and we're using bulls to bring down our age at finish while increasing our carcass weight. We've brought the age at finish down 5-6 months on the bulls, and we've increased the carcass weight about 70-80 kilos. So we've improved a lot there. It helps the bottom line and it also helps the sustainability of the farm.
We're using protected urea and the dribble bar. We took soil samples after joining the Future Beef programme, showed that we needed 130 tonne of lime. We put all that out last October, 12 months. We had an extra 2.5 tonne of grass grown last year because of it. We had a lot better quality silage last year.
With regards to biodiversity, we have 6 acres of forestry on the farm. We have a lot of hedgerow. My father never took out hedges in his time. We don't cut them down to the scut. We kind of maintain them, and we have about 27-30 acres of special area of conservation land in Youghal. It's our out farm.
We're putting in a riparian margin in one stream. We want to try and farm here as environmentally friendly as we can, but we need to make a living out of it as well. I always love farming. I'm having a better time farming now than I ever did.
Head to County Meath to meet our final finalist in the suckler beef category, Michael McGuigan.
Michael McGuigan is my name. We're farming 60 acres here in Longwood, South Meath. We've been here for 7 years, bought the farm in 2016. Suckler to store is our system. 30 cows, 30 calves, all the followers from last year. We bring them to store, sell them at the mart, mostly. Some we finish off grass. My wife and daughter are very much involved in the farm, interested in it. We calve all our heifers down at 24 months of age. And we're 100% AI. And with the index, we're going even deeper again. We're looking at the carcass sub-index, the milking ability sub-index, calving difficulty we always bring in. And with that, we're improving the genetics of the herd. So we set about liming, first of all. You know, it was low in pH. Then we started reseeding once we got the indexes a wee bit better by just targeting compounds to those particular paddocks. So each year we're reseeding 10 to 15% of the farm. We're also oversowing with clover on about 5 to 10%. Set about putting in a paddock system. That gives me the control. I made the paddocks that they're 2.5 day paddocks that the cows are moving on. That gives me full control to help with the whole grassland management. We've used 100% protected urea. In 2018, we used 155 kilograms of nitrogen and we grew 7.5 tonne of grass. Last year, we used 105 kilograms of nitrogen and we grew 12.5 tonne of grass. This year we planted over 1 kilometre of hedging, which is the whole length right along the river to give us that buffer zone. It's also increasing our biodiversity by planting the hedge. We've done part of it topped hedge, part tree line top or escaped hedge as they call it. Paddocks is now the next focus to join up all those avenues and corridors for biodiversity. So there's 600 metres of hedging going in next year and 600 metres going in for the year after. When your daughter comes home from school and asks you questions about the environment that she's learning in school, I feel proud of that, to be able to answer the question of what we're doing. She goes back into school to tell them in school what we're doing in the farm.
So there are 4 suckler beef finalists, and I think if you're listening carefully to the videos, you'll have picked up all top technical performers. Also, there was mention of win-win solutions, which I thought was interesting. And the other point which I picked up was the importance of enjoying what you're doing, and it's quite clear from those video clips that the four finalists featured all enjoyed what they were doing. I'd now like to call on Michael Berkery of FBD Insurance to say a few words.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests. Frank referred to the fact that this programme is 3 years in gestation, and what I've seen already was worth every moment of the wait. And I just to start by complimenting all of the Teagasc people, and of course all the farmers who participated, but particularly the Teagasc personnel who have led this new venture really for Teagasc, I suppose, particularly across Arsh in the whole environmental concept and environmental area in the nature of a competition that we have tonight. FBD decided to partner with Teagasc in this competition and awards to demonstrate our commitment to environmental sustainability and to support the environmental sustainability of our farmer customers. FBD has a long track record of supporting farmers, and farmers have reciprocated with their loyalty to FBD Insurance, which we have always recognised. FBD is well aware of the importance of the environmental sustainability and the economic viability of our farmer customers. Good farming practice and good environmental practice can go hand in hand, as demonstrated by all the farmers that entered this competition and the 4 outstanding suckler beef farmers that we've seen on this video already. The economic sustainability of farmers as food producers is paramount. Ireland is uniquely situated in the Northern Hemisphere with a temperate climate and a long grazing season to produce food in a highly sustainable environment. And again, we saw that in the 4 practical examples of extended grazing and fantastic grass management. We have acknowledged advantages over many of our competitors who rely on transporting feedstuffs from around the world to support their national herds, thus importing nitrogen in another form. The national herd is Ireland's rural income and wealth generator, as is the country's food industry, worth 30 billion annually, generating 16 billion in exports and employing 165,000 people. This revenue and employment is vital for the sustainability of small towns and villages throughout rural Ireland. In FBD, we recognise Teagasc has the research capacity and resources to guide farmers through the environmental and competitive challenges ahead. AI, artificial insemination, became available in the 1950s and revolutionised cattle breeding. Modern AI, artificial intelligence, in our time, has the potential to equally impact on farming and environmental conservation. The Teagasc Grass 10 programme already has 100 farmers availing of their predictive growing condition service on individual farms around the country. This service provides grass growth indication on a weekly basis and will allow farmers to match fertiliser application, organic and chemical, to optimal growing conditions. A first in the world, I believe. This is unique and is part of the combination of research and the Extension Advisory Service in Teagasc, and can only further develop with the AI and the modern communications technology that's coming available. The next step is to tie in the meteorological conditions which will automatically and environmentally benefit for farmers. Ireland is the only country in the world to have every animal in the national herd on a central database. The Irish Cattle Breeding Federation, ICBF, has made enormous improvements to the genetic value of our national livestock herd using this powerful data, thereby contributing to Ireland's environmental sustainability. FBD has financially supported both those developments. Origin Green, with farm inspections and certification, is now recognised by food retailers worldwide as an authentication of the provenance of nutritious Irish food produced in clean and a healthy environment. I welcome the Government's commitment to maintaining the EU Nitrates Directive for Ireland and encourage farmers to grasp this opportunity to play their part in improving water quality. Farmers in all enterprises, Teagasc advisors and agricultural contractors must all play their part in improving water quality, which will have a major bearing on Ireland's ability to demonstrate to Brussels our justification for the continuation of the derogation. I also welcome the Department of Agriculture's Capital Investment Programme directed at improved organic manure utilisation, thereby contributing to farm viability and environmental sustainability. The first ever environmental sustainability competition and awards did not shy away from the challenges facing farmers: better manure storage and utilisation, water quality, soil conditions and biodiversity, etc. The contestants show what farmers are capable of achieving, and the winners will become champions for environmental sustainability as well as economic and income sustainability. In modern idiom, they will become opinion leaders. Frank O'Mara introduced tonight's competition and events as the inaugural launch of this competition. And there was a query, I suppose, whether it will be a once-off or FBD will stand by the future of this competition. I have more than half the FBD Trust directors and the senior management from FBD in the room, so I think we have made a good case, Frank, why we will be in this competition for many years to come, because I think it is a vital competition and it will be innovative and very productive. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Michael, and we look forward to working with you again in future years on this initiative. The next finalists we're going to see on video are our two sheep finalists. And Declan once again visited the farms, and we're now going to enjoy the footage from those farms.
There are two finalists in the sheep category. First up, we go to Galway to meet Laois Gallagher.
Hello, my name is Bláinead Gallagher, and we're based here in Murray Meadows, which is our 120-acre farm just outside of Auckland, the historic village which is in East Galway. So I am supported here on the farm by my husband Niall, and he's been involved in the restoration project of the farm with me. Well, we're continuing on an organic system that has been here for hundreds of years. The farm is actually 100% inorganic at the moment, so we're producing both organic lamb and organic wool. So the sheep that we have here is called the Galway. She's a rare breed, and she's actually Ireland's native breed. We outwinter all of the animals, and we've used existing plantations here to keep the animals sheltered. We don't spread any slurry, we don't spread any bag manure, and after a lot of soil sampling over the years, the only thing that we have to do from time to time is to actually spread some lime. Also on the farm we have some areas of hedgerows that have been planted, and we've incorporated some commercial timber as well as 5 different species of native trees. And what we're doing to enhance the water quality here on the farm is that we're actually leaving the flagless grove. We've actually seen them as a natural filtration system. So they're bringing nitrates and they're filtering it before it actually hits the water courses. So we're very proud of that here on the farm. So we're involved in the National Parks and Wildlife Scheme. We've devoted 20 acres on the farm to this particular scheme. 2 of our meadows are what are called ancient Molino meadows. We're up to 22 different species of plants in each of those meadows. We also have an area of ground that's been protected to try and invigorate a population of the marsh fritillary. So the marsh fritillary is a very rare butterfly in Northern Europe. We work in tandem with Social Farming Ireland, and we bring people here to the farm 2 days a week, and to give them an opportunity, even if it's just for 1 day a week, to do the 3-kilometre walk around the farm and to immerse themselves in nature. It is very rewarding when you see the improvements and when you see the confidence that bringing people to the farm, how it makes them feel. That in itself gives you a very good feel-good factor. We're extensively farming. We're working with the environment, but we're earning a living. And that to me is something to be really, really proud of.
Now we head south to County Kilkenny to meet our second sheep category finalist, Brian Nicholson.
Brian Nicholson here. I'm running a mixed farm here in County Kilkenny, primarily sheep with some beef, cattle and tillage. My wife is working full-time off farm, and the kids would be out from time to time over the year to help. There's 98 hectares of agricultural land with a further 20 hectares of forestry. 70 hectares is organic, the remainder is conventional. We're carrying 550 to 600 ewes and 100 head of cattle. Sheep are a mixture of Texel, Belclare, Clin crosses. There's some Easy Care and Suffolk there as well. Over the years I've been incorporating clover into my reseeds and multi-species swards. As a result, I've reduced chemical input onto the field. So the use of tillage within the system will give me 2 benefits. It provides a feed for the winter for the stock, and it also allows me to break down the sod. We have combi crops incorporated into the organic side of the farm to produce feed for the winter, so it's wheat and peas, so we have energy and protein. So on the conventional part of the farm, we're using protected urea. Around the farm we have a diverse range of hedge types. There are owls around the farm. I think they nest in one of the old buildings. There's a couple of buzzards. Currently in the forestry on the farm, we have Norway spruce, about 15 hectares. There's an additional 19 hectares of agroforestry planned to be put in along by the river. Switching to organics has been a big benefit to me for the work-life balance. I've reduced my stock numbers a bit, which means I have that little bit less work to do. Farm work is done Monday to Friday. Saturdays and Sundays is family.
There are 2 sheep finalists for this evening's award, and I particularly liked how Bláthnaid put it, working with the environment, earning a living. And that's really the combination that we want to recognise through this evening's award. And also, I guess I was taken by how both these farmers, and indeed some of our other finalists, have looked at diversification options, including forestry and agroforestry that was mentioned in the video just gone. So I'd now like to call on my Teagasc colleague, Siobhan Kavanagh, Communications and Engagement Specialist with the Signpost Programme, and also the chair of the judging panel for these awards, to say a few words.
Thank you, Tom. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my job as chair of the judging panel to just say a few words about the judging process and also maybe some of our observations from the farm visits. Firstly, I want to acknowledge the judging panel. So the panel was made up of Bernard Hyde from the EPA, Ruth Wilson from the National Biodiversity Data Centre, Mary Dunphy from FBD, and then my own colleagues in Teagasc, Noel Meehan, Cathal Summers, Sean Roherty, and the enterprise specialists, Catherine Egan, Stuart Childs, Kieran Lynch and Shay Phelan. So thanks very much to the judging panel, and I'm sure there was times when they were sorry they committed to it after a few early mornings and late nights, but they persisted with it, and we had a good variety of judges on the panel. So how were these farmers judged? They were judged on 5 different levels, and the first and most important one was the starting point, was to make sure that these farms were technically efficient and financially viable, because we want to be able to demonstrate good environmental sustainability, but also be able to do it with technical efficiency and sustainability from an economics perspective. So what was really important to us was that the fundamentals were right. So soil fertility was strong on the farm, breeding, grassland management, animal health, crop husbandry. And I have to say that we saw very high levels of technical efficiency across all the farms, and likewise in terms of economic sustainability. We asked all farmers to comment on where their plans were going for the future, so that we could see resilience building into the future as well. So the other 4 areas were the 4 pillars of environmental sustainability. So reducing greenhouse gas emissions, enhancing biodiversity, improving water quality, and soil health and carbon sequestration. And I'm not going to go through all the technologies were adopted, but you will see them throughout the videos. What we've done is woven through all of the technologies, and we take a lot of the farmers take all the technologies that we talk about. Significant reductions in chemical end use, significant improvements in the amount of protected urea we're using, reductions in aged slaughter, a lot of trees, a lot of hedgerows planted, and importantly, better management of existing hedgerows. In terms of water quality, which is probably an area that we're particularly focused on now, we've seen extensive use of PIP maps to identify what the challenges were, and then the implementation of technologies to reduce the potential impact on water. We saw extra slurry storage going in. We saw significant reduction in nitrogen balance on an awful lot of farms. We saw improvements in soil health and soil fertility. But I'd say if there was one area that we saw probably slightly weaker, it was in that area of soil health. And that's nothing surprising. It's probably a relatively new area for us. And as one farmer said in an earlier edition of a video that we had to take out, if we don't know what we don't know, and when we do know it, we can do something about it. And that's the same with soil health. So if we engage farmers and help them to understand the impact of different actions on soil health, then we can make progress in that area. We saw significant adoption of or use of the decision support tools. We have so many tools available to us now to help farmers to make decisions in these areas. So the likes of AgNav, CBV, PIP maps, NMP, pasture brace, and many, many more. And all of these farmers were making really good use of the data from these tools to help them make informed decisions on their farms, which was really, really positive. What we noticed was some really good or really encouraging examples of collaboration amongst farmers. So we saw dairy farmers working with dairy beef farmers to develop a breeding plan for improving the CBV of the calves that were being bought or being sold. And that's something we'd like to see more of. On the tillage side, we saw tillage farmers working very closely with dairy farms to produce forage for them and to recycle nutrients. So those kind of examples of collaboration were encouraging. As I say, we'd like to see more of those. One of the things I suppose it is important to say is these were all family farms and doing a really good job. But they came across, all of the farmers came across so passionate about what they were doing, so committed and so proud of what they're doing on the farms. And technically efficient and also very environmentally sustainable. But they were also getting huge, I would say, well-being and enjoyment benefits from what they were doing. So we talk about the win-win. We talk about the win in terms of reducing costs or improving the profitability and improving environmental sustainability. But I would say in all of these farms, it was a win-win-win. So they were winning in terms of they were making a good living, they were enjoying it, and they were looking after the environment. So it was a win-win-win for these farms. One thing that was worth noting, and Tom just mentioned it there, was the level of diversification or doing something a little bit different. And we would have picked these farms because they were doing something a little bit different. So there was a good few examples of diversification. So agroforestry, putting in solar panels to sell to the national grid, and developing a market for miscantons in one case, developing markets for Galway lamb. And then others were doing things like trying to reduce their energy costs through the use of biomass boilers or harvesting of rainwater. So a lot of these farmers were doing something slightly different. On behalf of the judging panel, I want to thank all the farmers that we visited. We thoroughly enjoyed. I've signed up some of the judges already for next year. They mightn't know it yet, but they are signed up for it. We thoroughly enjoyed the videos because the passion of these farmers really shone through, and these farmers were exceptionally open to us in terms of providing information and data and telling the story of what they're doing on the farm. So on behalf of the judging panel, I just want to wish you the very best of luck this evening. You're all leading the way in terms of environmental sustainability, and I think you should be all very proud of what you're doing. I know we were very proud of what you were doing on the farms when we visited them. So the very best of luck for this evening. I hope you really enjoy it, and the very best of luck for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Siobhan. Our next finalists who we're going to see on video are our dairy finalists. There are 6 dairy finalists up for consideration for award this evening. And once again, Declan visited the 6 dairy finalists during the summer, and he has compiled the 6 videos you're now going to see.
In the dairy category, there are 6 finalists. First up, we head to County Limerick to meet Martin Crowe.
My name is Martin Crowe. I'm a dairy farmer here from Doon in County Limerick. We're milking 200 British Frisian cows here. I've heard it was established back in the 50s by my grandfather even. A family of 5 children here with us. They're my wife Jo and Roisin, Nadine, Padraig, Dermot and Cormac. We're very proud of our cows here. EBI is an important factor in selecting our bulls. We're using sex semen here now for the last 3 years, and we target the cows we want to get our replacement stock off of them, and all the other cows then get beef straws on the dairy beef index. So we have 2 farmers here that take all our beef calves off us in the springtime, and they're very happy with the CPV values. We're targeting 6.3 to 6.5 of pH on all our soils here, and index 3 for P and K. And all of the milking platform is almost at that now at this stage. We've incorporated an awful lot of clover on the farm here over the last 4 years. We're constantly stitching in more and more clover. We're getting a lot of benefit out of that. So that's helped us reduce our requirement for chemical nitrogen. 6 or 7 years ago, I planted a hedgerow and I planted trees. And for the money I did it, but I mean, that scheme is long since finished. And I'm pure delighted with my trees and my hedgerows. 800 metres of hedgerows planted in the last couple of years. We've changed our hedgerow management then as well of our existing hedgerows. We're now, instead of the box hedge, where we thought was lovely all the years going back, we're now letting those hedges grow up. There's a lot of water streams here at home, at the home farm and the outside farm, and we have them all fenced off 5 feet back from the top of the bank, and then we have an exclusion zone outside that for slurry and chemical fertiliser that we don't go inside. We also have a settlement ponds then coming off from the water coming off the farmyards and that. So the grey water there, we try and catch as much sediment coming from the yards. I constructed a pond 3 years ago as well as part of the Mulcare EIP programme, and we're very happy with that as well. Mark Little, formerly of RTE, put a very good question one time. He says, what will you say to your grandchildren in 20 years' time when they ask you, Grandad, what did you do? So in 20 years, please God, I will have grandchildren, and I'd like to be able to tell them that we did this and this to secure their future.
Now we head to County Waterford to meet Shane Fitzgerald.
My name is Shane Fitzgerald. I'm from Portlaw in County Waterford. I'm farming here with my dad John and my fiancée Kate. We're a spring calf and dairy herd. So you can see we're out here with the herd of Holstein Friesian cows. 200 cows on the farm, and then we also do our own machinery work, our own silage. So my dad is the machinery maintenance man, and myself and Kate do the cows and the grass and the business side of things, so we complement each other very well. This year our herd EBI is now in the top 4% of the country. We've increased our milk solids up from close to 340 kilos of milk solids per cow up to in around 480 kilos of milk solids per cow. We've also been using sex semen as well, and we would have used in between 10 to 20% of sex semen on the herd. We do have the collars on the cows now over the last 2 years, protecting our water courses and improving water quality. So we've implemented measures around the farm, such as our riparian buffer zones, where we leave a strip of up to 3 metres that we don't have any pesticides, slurry or fertiliser going into. And we also have a road sweeper we use on the farm as well around our yard. We've dug a 20 metre by 20 metre pond on one part of the farm as well. The number one thing we're doing on the farm is reducing our chemical nitrogen. So we're reducing our nitrogen on the farm through incorporating clover on the farm, whether that's with our grassland species or else with our mixed species. We've reduced our chemical nitrogen by up to 30% on the farm over the last 3 years. We have focused more on leaving room for nature. Our hedgerow management, even though we've planted a new hedgerow of 460 metres, we've also stopped trimming our hedgerows unless absolutely necessary. We only side trim them maybe every 3 to 4 years. We also have owl boxes on the farm. We've put up 2 owl boxes last year. I think the best advice I'd give to farmers who are maybe on the fence about making any changes in relation to the environment, I think it's to start small. It doesn't have to be necessarily, for example, planting a new hedgerow. It could be just maintaining your old hedgerows better and I suppose enhancing what you already have.
Up we go to County Wexford to meet Alan and Cheryl Poole.
My name is Alan Poole from Gorey, County Wexford, and it's a dairy farm here. We're milking 72 cows on 103 acres. My wife Cheryl and 3 kids, Jakey, Isabel and Daniel, who help out on the farm. The cows are very important. They go hand in hand. You don't have the environment on one side and cows on the other. They go hand in hand. You know, we invest heavily in the cows, pushing EBI as far as we can. And you know, like when the genomics scheme came out, we went straight in there and signed up. We saw a jump of maybe 50 points in our EBI.
Our cows, we are incredibly proud of them. They're fantastic women. We always have taught our kids to treat them with huge respect because they are how we live.
Grass is really important on the farm, and you know the foundation for that is your fertility. You know, getting your P's and your K's right and your pH right, and then you know getting out nitrogen. We have our protected urea, but also the use of clover. We've clover in about 25% here, and then we've 2 fields of multi-species which I sowed last year. About 20% of the farm which is space for nature. So we've a lot of mature hedgerow in the farm. And that's important for everyone. We trimmed them on a 3-year rotation, and then we planted a new hedgerow. We're involved with the All Ireland Swift Conservation Project, and as part of that, we've put up boxes. Yesterday morning, there was 11 birds flying around prospecting, thinking this is good real estate here. We have the River Bann flowing through our farm. We have our margins along by the river, all our buffer margins as part of the acres. We have a 2 metre grass buffer on top of the 1.5 metre, so you've actually 3.5 metre between the field and the stream.
We've been into schools, we've done the farmer time on, and also had scout groups and school groups out here, and just show them. And it's amazing when you see them looking, they start getting really excited and finding so much stuff. But they won't see that, they won't get that feeling of the need or what biodiversity is or the need to protect it unless they actually experience it. And I think that's a hugely important thing that we feel for the future, is developing that side of things more and giving a joy of nature and enthusiasm for biodiversity and sustainability.
Next, we head north to County Donegal to meet Richard Starrett.
I'm Richard Starrett. I farm here in the outskirts of Lifford in County Donegal with my wife Wendy and the 3 children. We're a spring calf and dairy herd, milking around about 165 cows on a platform of about 85 hectares. We have a high EBI herd, it's in the top 1% in the country. Whenever we're breeding, we only breed the top 25% of the herd to freezing, and we use sex semen, and the other 75% get high DBA beef straws. Protected urea is used on the farm, like last year, 2023, it was 100% protected urea, along with some compounds to build up the indexes. There's clover incorporated into any reseeds this last 3 years. We have about 10% of clover on the farm here now, of white clover. Then we did reseeding there this year in 2024 of red clover silage sward. So last year, 2023, we put up a new cubicle shed with a big slurry tank underneath it, and we have enough slurry storage now to keep us going maybe to the middle of March. We first installed solar panels here on the farm in 2019. That's only a 24-panel system. We have a TAMS grant in at the minute, actually, another 50 solar panels. 50% of the farm would be tree-line hedges and 50% would be topped hedges. And those topped hedges were increasing the height of them over this last number of years, trying to get them into a good A-shape. Between last year and this year, over the winter and spring, we planted 450 metres of hedges to help with some water flow off the farm. There's pip maps that our Teagasc advisor came to me with, and anywhere he suggested we need to watch for runoff is, we put hedges on those locations. On the farm here we have about 8 acres of natural habitat with gorse and everything on it. What we're most proud of on the farm and all the changes we've made in the years would be using the EBA of the cows and having good fertility. Down the road going forward, I'm hoping that some of the children will take over the farm.
Back down the country we come to County Tipperary to meet Edwin Thompson.
My name is Edwin Thompson. I'm married to my wife Diane. I have 3 boys, teenage boys. I'm farming here in Golden, County Tipperary, the heart of the Golden Vale, milking 160 cows, farmed on about 86 hectares. When we first joined the Signpost programme, we identified areas that we could improve on. So we immediately reseeded some land and we got some clover going. We currently have about 50% of the farm growing in clover or multi-species. I have the tractor set up with GPS, so we're driving very accurately. We're spreading about 40 to 50% of what we used to spread of the chemical nitrogen, and all of that chemical nitrogen is spread in a protected form. We've reduced our chemical nitrogen last year to about 110 units of nitrogen per hectare. I walk the farm here on a weekly basis. I use a combination of plate meter and eyeball in it. We're picking beef sires that have a high CBV value. This gives the beef man a better animal. He knows now that when he goes to the market to buy an animal, that this animal will perform for him. We're quite happy to leave a little bit of land for nature, for the environment, hedges, ponds, reed beds. We're not obsessed here with farming every square inch of the land. We're quite happy to leave areas. We used to keep the hedges neatly trimmed and manicured, but now we're trying to leave them escape and grow and produce flowers and cover and food for wildlife and for birds. I love getting up in the morning and heading over to the farm and planning my day. For me, there's no stress involved, there's no traffic. I'm out in the countryside, working with beautiful animals, making a good living. It doesn't get much better.
And we stay in County Tipperary to meet our final dairy category finalists, John and Brendan Walsh.
My name is John Walsh. I'm farming here in South Tipperary, farming near the village of Ballylooby, farming with my son Brendan, my wife Maria and two daughters, Helena and Claire. We also have a local lad helping us out. We're milking 165 cows, a small beef enterprise. We're on a 107 hectare block. To reduce our nitrogen, we've basically had to change our mind thought, and so we went on the clover route. 65% of the farm in clover at the moment.
We've reduced our chemical nitrogen application from in and around 220 kilos in 2020 to 115 kilos of chemical N per hectare in 2023.
The reduction in nitrogen is absolutely huge, and we're still able to keep going.
So over the years we've been focusing on breeding a more efficient type cow that will convert grass into milled solids.
We've planted 2 new hedges. We have, as regards whitethorn, we're leaving whitethorn every 50 or 60 metres, just leave it go.
We also have escaped hedgerows on the farm that are allowed to grow up high into a full tree line.
Every year we plant something somewhere, whether it's a small pocket of trees or put a few trees here or there.
We have a stream running along the northern boundary of the farm, and the kind of the ground around that would be more, I suppose, wetter ground that's used mainly just for the dry stock. So at its narrowest point, it's 30 metres from our more intensive ground, if you like. So that's kind of like a natural buffer zone.
We're harvesting rainwater since 2020. We've two 20,000 litre tanks. That will actually wash down the yard above for 20 days. We're willing to try a lot of things, but willing to accept the failures.
So you've just seen our 6 dairy finalists. A couple of interesting points made during the videos, I think you'll agree. For me, I think from Alan and Cheryl, cows and the environment go hand in hand was quite striking. And also from the same couple, the importance of sharing the stories with others. It's one thing to farm environmentally sustainability, it's important that we let others know. And I suppose from Edwin, I just noted he loves getting up in the morning. To me, that's powerful. Again, stressing the enjoyment piece in what you do. And the last point I'll make is the use of data. Again, Siobhan referred to it, the use of the PIP maps to identify areas of high risk for water quality. So they're being used widely by the dairy finalists. We're now going to move on to our next enterprise, which is the tillage enterprise. We have 2 finalists. Once again, 2 compilation videos for you to see.
There are 2 finalists in the tillage category. First up, we go down to County Cork to meet Tom Barry.
My name is Tom Barry and I'm based here in Killenard in North Cork in the heart of the Blackwater Valley, and I farm 600 acres. I'm married with my wife Kathy and my 3 children, Ronan, Fiona and Kevin, and the crops we grow here are winter beans, winter barley, winter wheat, winter oats, spring barley, spring oats, spring beans, cover crops and wild bird cover. We have a strong crop rotation. We introduce crops like beans. We also import an awful lot of slurries from dairy and pig farms. We are cutting down the amount of nitrogen, bag nitrogen we use by 50%, and we're cutting down our fungicides dramatically. How we manage our slurries here on the farm was we built a very large tank to store 30 lorry loads of slurry. We test our slurries. We then can pump that slurry up to 2 kilometres to spread on the fields with umbilical cords and no damage. And even as we speak, the new equipment has NIR, which basically can tell us exactly the nutrients that's going on every inch of the field. They're satellite mapped, and we are also soil sampling every single field every single year. I do like having a spade. Check for compaction, you check for life, for humus, for earthworms, and you just see, is your soil, is it in a healthy state? We planted 20% of our farm in forestry. Where we had a pond, we planted forestry, so we made sure there would never be any pollution there. We then, for biodiversity, we planted hedgerows. So we were constantly buying approximately 1,000 quips every year. When we harvest this bean crop, we save the straw, which is herbaceous. It's a real woody straw, and we then use that straw to heat a biomass boiler, which dries our grain. Growing a crop, cutting back on nutrients and cutting back on what would have been deemed essential items, and being brave enough to make it happen. And that to me is everything.
Now we head back up the country to County Meath to meet our second finalist, James O'Keefe.
James O'Keefe, farming here at Creva, across the Keel, Kells, County Meath, in North Meath. I'm farming here with my wife, Zita, and my mother, Anne-Marie. We have an organic tillage farm here. That's the main part of the farm. It's about 300 acres all up. We're stockless organic. We also farm some miscanthus for animal bedding, growing here behind me. We have a bit of forestry as well. Some of the cereals are grown for food markets, porridge, milling, wheat, and maybe some for the distilling industry as well. We're working on that as well at the moment. And then the surplus, which will be the vast majority, will be sold for animal feed directly to farmers. So bringing farmyard manure, chicken litter, slurries. We built a farmyard manure slab specifically to bring those in all year round and compost it there. Miscanthus, growing miscanthus for animal bedding, it's very unique. Sequesters carbon. We developed an animal bedding market for at least 10 years ago. It's worked well, and we've since put in more. Big focus on soil health. We're really strong rotation, that's the key here. Diverse rotation with cereals, beans, combi crops of peas and barley, peas and wheat, red clover then as well. It's typically a 6-year rotation, and then we'll always have cover crops in over the winter if we have spring crops to follow, to protect the soil, and we'll contract grazing sheep to eat those down and recycle nutrients back into the ground. We have combi crops growing where this different biodiversity can live there rather than just monocultures all the time. Change management of hedgerows. We have a lot of mature trees around the farm. There's waterways all through this farm because we're in a low-lying area, so we have appropriate buffers for those, and we have additional riparian buffers. I suppose recently we put in a PV generation on the shed in the yard for producing electricity to sell to the grid. Do have plans to measure carbon in the farm. I suppose I did a calculation myself a while ago and it seemed quite positive for the organic farm and with a little bit of forestry, and we have the miscanthus. Like any farm, you're only minding it for a short time, so yeah, definitely would love to be able to hand over to my son Michael, because we're here for about 6 generations, and Michael will be the 7th.
There are 2 tillage finalists. I was interested to hear cover crops included in the list of crops mentioned by one of the tillage finalists, and the importance of a strong rotation mentioned by both. Also the importance of recycling of nutrients, and that's probably going to become even more important, I guess. And the final point I picked out from the tillage videos was that the level of investment that was required by both tillage farmers to allow them to farm in a more environmentally sustainable manner, and the importance of capital grants to facilitate that. So we're now heading to our last enterprise, the dairy beef enterprise. Again, we have 2 finalists, and once again, Declan visited the farms earlier this summer and captured the following video footage.
There are 2 finalists in the dairy beef category. First up, we head to County Meath to meet Aidan Maguire.
My name is Aidan Maguire. I'm farming in partnership with my son Luke. We farm dairy calf to beef, farming just over 65 hectares including the forestry, and we run up to 300 cattle. We buy off 3 local farmers, about 150 calves a year. Through my Teagasc advisor, we've come up with a list of bulls suitable for improving the genetics of our dairy beef herd. So in conjunction with the farmers, we're now selecting bulls based on their CBV. We went from basically a finishing age of 24 months. We're now back at 22 and a half, 23 months currently. We've reduced our chemical fertiliser usage through, first of all, we started with soil samples. Then through the proper use of slurry, we got our slurry tested. We've increased the P and K levels on the farm, stitched in white clover into some of the paddocks and done a complete reseed on other paddocks. The red clover has turned out fantastically well for us, making high quality silage for us. But in the last 10 to 15 years now, we started planting hedges. We put in a shelter belt around the farmyard. We planted 3,000 thorn quicks, replacing hedges that were there years and years ago. And we allow them now to keep growing wider and taller each year. We've left plants in the hedge to grow into mature trees. Around the yard, we have guttered every shed, and it's directed away from the actual farmyard. We put in a drain and a soak pit for it. I'd say the one environmentally good thing that I've done is I've actually planted forest on the farm. I really do get great pleasure out of that forest. There's 48,000 trees. They'll be there for my lifetime, and a lot of them will be there for my son's lifetime.
Now we head south to County Cork to meet our second finalist in the dairy beef category, John Murphy.
My name's John Murphy. We're down here in a small place called Ballylooby in the middle of Cork, and I run a calf to beef operation, buying roughly about 100 calves every spring, and we'll try and get them finished maybe hopefully for the second winter. Roughly around 43 hectares of ground here. Most of the calves are sourced very locally. We're in massive dairy country here. I try and get my calves from the same min every year. CBV does help, but you definitely need to have the good square cow. We're finishing at an average around 22 months there the last year. So definitely in terms of sustainability and what we're doing here, growing clovers, trying to reduce your fertiliser. Like, it's win-win. Fertilisers are expensive. If you can reduce that by any percentage, you're going to save a lot of money. Since maybe 2022, we started really getting into clover. Definitely there's one field we put into a mixture of white clover and red clover, which worked out fairly well. It hasn't used any specific fertiliser since. Other paddocks have got in with the white clover as well. We would like to see a lot more clover in this farm. Look at the way the system works here is, look, we're going to be reseeding a paddock every year, or a field. Before that field gets reseeded, there'll be a crop of forage rape put in, so that'll be grown, maybe planted in the end of August. So look, that can be grazed at the 1st of January, so weather permitting, obviously weather permitting, you can have cattle out on the 1st of January. They could be out on the 1st of January, they could be in for a month in, but you will aim to get them out as early as you can. So that's the beauty of the forage rape. Got into the acre scheme there 2 years ago, so we put in around 300 metres of white thorn hedging. There's a lot of trees around here, there's around 60 odd acres of planted ground. There's a share of native oaks here as well, actually. The plantation is due to be harvested this year, actually. It will tin it, and then there'll be a decision made after that, because it could be going for clear fell in another 10 years' time, or the most recent thing is continuous cover forestry. What I'm trying to do going forward is constantly improve the product we're producing, and so we can say to the market that, look, this is better than where you can get somewhere else. Produce as good a quality product as we can, just to get the farmers as sustainable as we can.
Now, you've seen all 16 finalists at this stage, and just a comment on the last two videos. Again, I was particularly taken by the planting of hedgerows, and in Aidan's case, he was even replacing hedges where they were years ago. And high technical performance and also diversification. Both finalists had forestry on their farms. So as I said, you've seen all 16 finalists, and now we're going to move on to the next part of our ceremony. The Environment Protection Agency exists to protect, improve and restore our environment. So we were delighted when we extended the invitation to its Director General, Laura Burke, that she was able to accept, and I now invite Laura to the stage to say a few words.
And thank you to Teagasc and FBD for the invite to be here tonight. I'm absolutely blown away by all of the videos and all of the examples of the sustainable farm practices that I saw throughout the evening. It was really inspiring. And in particular, it was the pride and positivity of all of the finalists. It's just, it is so encouraging to see. It is so, I think one of the people were talking about sharing the stories, and I really would encourage you to continue sharing these stories, because I think more people need to hear them and hear all of that good work that's been done. So first of all, I said thank you so much. And the role of the EPA, as said, is to protect and improve the environment, and we're all about science and data and evidence, and through that to support better environmental outcomes. And it was great to see again in the examples, for example, the PIP maps, which were developed by the EPA, that the fact that our data can be used to support work at a farm level and support those better environmental outcomes is really good to see. And of course, there was lots of talk about the challenges that we're seeing with regard to environment and whether it's climate change, water, ammonia, etc. But there's also, of course, as part of that, opportunities for change, opportunities for new ways of working, opportunities for technology, all of which were on display here this evening. And it was great, as I said, to see those exemplars and recognition being given to people who are, and again the word brave was brought up, who are brave and are taking the chance to do things differently, to try things out. And of course, not everything will work. And And we recognise, and of course in the EPA we recognise as well, that sustainability has to cover all aspects, as Frank was talking about. It is of course environment, but economic and social, and one can't go without the other. So when we talk about sustainability, we absolutely recognise there has to be economic sustainability in farming, otherwise it doesn't exist, which is of no benefit to anybody either. So again, some of the kind of the examples throughout the videos, and one of the ones that I liked was working with the environment and earning a living, and that codependence and that win-win situation, I think was great to see. It was also great to see, in the context of all of the challenges we see around forestry and afforestation, the examples in so many of the farms to see afforestation and forestry happening. And a term I hadn't heard of before, the escaped hedgerow, which I thought was a brilliant way of describing the hedgerows as well. So I learned lots this evening, including that. So that was really all I was going to say. I think the photography and the videography was absolutely brilliant. It was so, they say a picture tells 1,000 words, and that really did show such examples of great practice. So thank you very much, and good luck to all of the finalists.
Thank you, Laura. And now we reach the business end of tonight's ceremony. To borrow a sporting analogy and perhaps mix it with a political term as well, the minor match has been played and it's all senior hurling from now on. Our first awards tonight are for 4 categories. The 4 categories are reducing greenhouse gas emissions, enhancing biodiversity, improving water quality, and improving soil health and carbon sequestration. And these 4 awards, are to recognise those finalists who, in the judges' view, have taken the greatest steps to improve the performance of their farm under those 4 headings. The first award we will present is in the category of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And before presenting the award, we'll have a short recap video just to remind you of some of the key activities being undertaken on the finalist farms to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And the winner of the Reducing Gaseous Emissions Award is Edwin Thompson. Oops. Congratulations, Edwin. Well done.
Thank you.
Now we'll just take a photograph. Okay, that's yours. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Edwin. And our next category is enhancing biodiversity. And the winner of the Enhancing Biodiversity category is Ken Gill. Congratulations, well done.
Excellent.
Well done. Congratulations, Ken. Our next category is improving water quality. And the winner in the Improving Water Quality category is Martin Crowe. Congratulations, Martin, but I think your cover is blown. Your wife and family members know where you're spending all your time now up at that pond. Our final category in this part of the awards tonight is improving soil health and soil carbon sequestration. And the winner of the Improving Soil Health and Carbon Sequestration category is James O'Keefe. So that's our first 4 awards presented for this evening. We're now moving on to our enterprise categories. We're going to make awards to farmers in each of 5 enterprises, starting with suckler beef, then sheep, dairy, tillage and dairy beef. So the 5 main farming enterprises. And in this case, where the judges identified the farmer who is making the greatest overall efforts in terms of environmental sustainability across all the 4 pillars of environmental sustainability for each enterprise. We're going to start now with a recap video for our 4 suckler finalists, and after that I'll present the prize to the suckler winner. And the winner of the Suckler Beef category award is Shane Keaveney. Okay, now you're going to have to say a few words to me. So, okay, so I'll let go of that. Okay, so well done, Shane, firstly. And I noticed in your video you mentioned an enjoyment of farming. And I suppose what I'd like to ask you, do you think that farming in this environmentally sustainably fashion allows you to enjoy farming more?
Yeah, because you feel good about what you're doing and you get enjoyment out of that. So our own farm at home, I get great enjoyment out of it because, as I said, I just feel good about what I'm doing, and that's basically it.
Okay, very good. Well, congratulations on that. And if you'll stay on the stage here with me, if you just move here to the right slightly, and we'll move on to our next enterprise, which is the sheep enterprise. And we have a quick recap video again of our 2 finalists. And the winner of the Sheep Enterprise Award is Brian Nicholson. Oh, we've got everything now. Sorry. Now, okay. Okay, now you hold on to that. Okay, congratulations, Brian.
Thank you.
And what I'd like to ask you, again, just referring back to your video, you talked about converting part of your farm to organic. How important has that decision been for you?
I suppose it's been a big decision, but it's been a natural progression for the farm. Over the years, I've been incorporating clover and reducing nitrogen usage and that. So it was just the next step to where we went.
And my second question then is in relation to your comment about work-life balance, the importance of getting that social sustainability, that right as well.
Yeah, I think family life is very important. So I like to spend as much time with my family as I can, both on the farm and away from it.
Okay, good. Thank you very much and congratulations again. If you can stay on stage and join Shane. And Shane won't feel so lonely. So, okay, we move on to our next category, which is the Dairy Enterprise category. Once again, we have a quick recap video to remind you of our 6 finalists. And the winners, if I can get it out of the envelope. Yeah, and the winners of the Dairy Enterprise Award are John and Brendan Walsh. Hi, Brett. Congratulations. Now one of you can share it between you, and we have to take a photograph. First of all, congratulations, John and Brendan. What does winning an award like this mean to you?
It means, as farmers, in the sustainability end of it, we're willing to try a lot of funny things, we'll say, and see what way they will turn out. And some things go very, very well, but some things can go against you. But we're willing to try and keep trying. And it's the only way that we can move forward, to show other people that, right, this works.
Okay.
So we can move forward and improve our environment that way.
Okay. Brendan, I remember from the video that there's a significant reduction in fertilizer nitrogen. How challenging was that to implement on your farm?
I suppose initially it was kind of daunting enough, but we were part of the solid hedge low carbon group, and I suppose the info that we got from the research that's going on in solid hedge is what really, I suppose, drove that. We would have started from a low base, but after 2 or 3 years, we were really making big inroads, and I suppose where the big inroads came was from our zero nitrogen paddocks. So it's the confidence that we would have got from being involved in that group. That's what really would have brought that along.
Okay. Congratulations once again if you remain on the stage here, and we'll move on to our next category, which is the tillage category. And again, a quick recap video to remind you of our 2 finalists. And just be careful you don't fall off the edge of the stage there, Shane. And the winner of the Tillage Enterprise Award this evening is Tom Barry. Sorry?
Here, don't ram it here.
Okay, here. Okay. Do we have to take a photograph? Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a surprise, but
One of the things that struck me on your video was the level of investment, and you talked about high-cost investment in steel and concrete, but also you talked about the investment in a very low-cost tool, a spade.
Absolutely, Tom, and it all begins with the soil. And it took me a while to understand that, but once you do, you invest in your soil, you understand your soil, all you have to do is manage it. It protects you, it protects the water runoff, it gives you very good plants. And it's all about sustainability, and I was delighted to hear it here tonight. It's all about making it profitable, so it's sustainable for the next generation. So yeah, it's a journey we're all on, and looking forward to continuing it, yeah.
Congratulations. Okay, and if you can remain on stage with us here. So now we have our final enterprise category award, and that's for the dairy beef. Again, we have 2 finalists and a quick recap video. And the winner of our Dairy Beef Enterprise Award this evening is Aidan Maguire. Okay, now you have to say a few words. You can't escape that easy. So congratulations, Aidan.
Thanks very much.
Again, high levels of technical performance and a high level of efficiency on your farm, Aidan. How challenging is that?
It is challenging at the start, but it becomes enjoyable as you get results.
Right.
You know, so I do enjoy it, and I have my son coming along now, and he enjoys it too, so there is a good future for us.
And the forestry, you mentioned the forestry in your video. You're very proud of that and get a lot of enjoyment from it?
I was brave enough, I suppose, to plant forestry in County Meath land.
Okay.
But like I've enjoyed it for the last 20 years, and there's another 20 years maybe in me, so I look forward to that as well, you know.
Okay. Well, congratulations. So if you can stay on stage with us here. So I'd like to invite Laura Burke, Director General of the EPA, to join me on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, we've now reached that point in the evening that we've all been waiting for. The point at which we announce the overall winner, the inaugural Teagasc FBD Environmentally Sustainable Farmer of the Year. As we've mentioned a number of times during the evening, Declan McCardle visited all 16 finalists early this summer and captured video footage on each of the finalists' farms. On each farm, he asked the same question of each finalist. What would it mean to you to win the overall prize? Let's have a look and see what our 5 finalists on my right replied to that question.
we won this competition outright, it would mean an awful lot to the farm. For people to recognise what we're doing here, the way we're trying to bring the farm on and farm in a sustainable way. And it would also pay tribute to my dad and my granddad for the way they've left the farm to be.
Yeah, if I was to win the national award now, it'd be a shock initially, but it would be a massive honour. It'd be something that the whole family would be proud of. It's something that's always been done on the farm. Look after what's there, and it'll look after you. It would be a massive honour, but it'll be more for the previous generations that started everything off here.
If we were to win the National Sustainability Award, it will show to the outside world or people or whatever, judges, that farmers are working really hard behind the scenes, not looking for recognition, but just to show that the work that they have done, it was instilled in me when I was younger through my father and through my grandfather, and you can see trees planted in their time, and now they're mature trees, and you can say, right, that's nice. And even I can remember the first one I planted, it was when I was only about 12, and it was actually over there. So it just shows that you'll always remember the tree you planted yourself, and if you plant a tree, you'll do your best not to cut it down.
But it would probably also be good recognition for agriculture in general, because while we're doing it, we're not the only ones, and there's a lot of farmers throughout the country that are doing the exact same things, and all those things are going to have the benefit in Ireland's, I suppose, task in reducing our carbon footprint and also improving biodiversity on farms as well.
What would it mean to myself and my family if we won this title? Sure, it would be absolutely amazing. It would be recognition. Because you work so hard and you wonder at times, does anybody really care? And we won an award at the Cork, an innovation award at the Cork Summer Show in 2019 for our biomass boiler for drying grain. And I must admit, it wasn't the finance of the award or anything, it was just recognition. Recognition is everything. If you're recognised for doing something right, and maybe someone else might follow you and we'll have a better environment, well, isn't that everything?
It would be a fantastic clap on the back for the work that we do here. We have a great interest in our farm and we want it to go on forever. My son Luke is the next generation. I want him to enjoy it as much as I enjoy it.
I think we have to have a build-up, Laura. Okay, off you go. And just read the card.
And the winner is John and Brendan Walsh.
Now, do you want to present this as well, please? So thank you, Laura. So congratulations for the inaugural Teagasc FBD Environmentally Sustainable Farmer of the Year. Quite a mouthful, as somebody said earlier. How do you feel now on winning the award? I'll start with Brendan first this time, maybe.
I don't know. No, delighted. As has been kind of mentioned earlier, I think it's just great recognition for the work that I suppose us as farmers are doing and the effort that the industry is kind of going to to meet the challenges that we have. So like it's just recognition for I suppose all the effort that's been put in by us farmers and everyone else involved.
And yourself, John?
Yeah, I must say it is kind of recognition for your hard work behind the scenes. Like, we don't want praise for it. We just want to show to other people that this can be done. And farming has been knocked out for the last 2 or 3 years with environmental issues, and it has quietened because I think the picture is coming across slowly but surely. These things can be rectified, and we just need a bit of time.
Okay,
it will be done.
Okay, looking to the future, future plans in terms of maybe building on where you are currently. What's next in the pipeline in terms of adding to your environmental sustainability, Brendan?
Yeah, so I suppose probably, the nitrogen is a big one. This year would have been a challenge in, like, we didn't achieve the figure that we got last year because of, I suppose, the growing conditions. So getting ourselves back to, around 100 to 120 kilos would be, and if we can maintain that over a long term, is where I suppose we'd be aiming to be at. And then continually, I suppose, improving biodiversity and water quality. There were some things we saw in the videos there that we could actually, in other people's farms, that we could implement in our farm, and it would really make a difference. So that's probably the next maybe area that we can look to improve on.
Okay. And finally then for you, John, do you have any words of encouragement for other farmers? You're obviously trailblazers, you're showing the way forward. Others might be looking over the hedge at you. What do you say?
Well, I always say even to myself, I said, don't be worrying what someone else is doing. Concentrate on your own farm and try and improve that. But take your ideas from people that have tried it out and maybe try ideas yourself. And like I said in the video, don't be afraid to try, but don't be afraid of failure neither, because failure you learn.
Of course.
And that's where we're heading. And like the future is in the next generation here, and I know our own farm is in good hands.
Okay. Great. Well, congratulations, and would you all join me in congratulating the Walshes, John and Brendan. So that concludes our award ceremony for this evening. There's just 1 or 2 final things to do, and the first is to invite Teagasc Chairman Liam Herlihy to close the event.
My words at this stage will be very brief. I certainly don't want to keep between you and the celebrations. But on a personal note, when the final winner didn't come from either Waterford or Cork, the next best thing, of course, is just across the V from me, my neighbours in South Tipperary. So congratulations to both of you from Ballylooby. And I think it's only appropriate that I say well done to Dairygold Co-op. I assume that you are Dairygold suppliers. And as well as that, I'm aware that Dairygold supplier Aidan Kennedy won the National Milk Quality Award today as well. So I think it is just going to show that the level of collaboration that's there between Teagasc, the dairy processors, and indeed all other stakeholders supporting all of this. So congratulations to the winners and indeed to all 16 finalists. I think I just want to say a very special thanks and to acknowledge the presence of Laura Burke, Director General of EPA tonight. As Tom made the point earlier on, the remit of the EPA, as we are well aware, is to protect, restore and enhance the whole area of biodiversity. And our 16 finalists were a shining example of how they are doing it. They do not see it as a challenge, but certainly are full of positivity and see the glass as half full. And I think it clearly illustrates the commitment of the farming community, what we can do working in conjunction with the EPA, And obviously Teagasc has a very significant role there in ensuring that we can continue to develop measurable science-based research, continuing on that to both our advisory and educational structures to ensure that that is adequately communicated to all of our farmers. There is one ask I would say tonight, is that the 16 farmers that were chosen or shortlisted are outstanding ambassadors for the world of Irish agriculture, particularly focusing on being technically efficient, earning good livelihoods, and certainly keeping the environment as it ought to be and enhancing and improving it. You are the ambassadors in all of your respective counties, and I just want to ask you that you continue on to be the positive ambassadors that you are and have and will be for the future. As farmers, the best school of education of all is, and I'm speaking having been in that area as a farmer for many years. We all learn, best of all, from our neighbours, and keep it going. I want to say thanks to Tom. The chit-chat at our table tonight was that I'd want to keep a close eye on Tom, just in case there is a vacancy in RTE. But I have assured my table companions that there is far too much hassle in RTE. In Teagasc, obviously compliments to a good chairman, everything is, the picture is really rosy. I'm only jesting, of course. But thanks, Tom, for doing it really well tonight. Declan McArdle, I think it's important to say, at times I was wondering tonight, do you work for Teagasc or fall to Ireland? But I think it's important that we actually compliment in the work that you have actually done through all of those. And as somebody said tonight, the picture said 1,000 words. Really appreciate that. In conclusion, I just want to say, on behalf of all of us, thanks to the hotel here for a fabulous meal and providing us with tip-top facility tonight. I just want to say thanks to the manager and the staff of the hotel. Really appreciate it. So all that's left for me to say is, back to you, Tom, but for all the rest of you, enjoy the celebrations and well done to everybody.
Thank you, Liam. And now we have reached the end of our evening, our award ceremony. Hopefully you have all enjoyed the celebration, and I believe that it was a celebration. And I think also through the event, the videos in particular highlighted the many positive steps that Irish farmers, our 16 finalists, are taking to lighten the load of farming on the land while continuing to produce quality food. I would ask you all, the 16 finalists and others in the room, to share the messages from this evening, echoing the words of Liam. And for those who are on social media, to reshare the posts from the Teagasc social media accounts regarding the event. Because it's only by telling the good stories about farming that the good stories will get out there. Two final then announcements. For all 16 finalists, there is a certificate, and those certificates will be available for each of the 16 finalists at the back of the room. So please make sure to collect your certificate before you leave. And for the overall winners, the award winners, and indeed any other finalists who want photographs with family members or others who have joined them for this evening's celebration, you can come to the stage afterwards and we'll arrange those photographs. So there were my two final announcements. On that note, I hope you all enjoy the rest of the evening, and thank you for your attention and participation.